14 WILI and 95.3 FM presents Hometown Threads, a closer look at our community and the people that make it go. Every week, you'll hear uplifting stories from our local businesses and our neighbors. Now, here's our host for Hometown Threads, Keith C. Rice.
Ho, ho, ho. Welcome into episode 126 of Hometown Threads on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM in Willimantic Today Facebook and Spectrum 192. And, of course, the world-famous, soon-to-be world-famous, WILI YouTube channel. Please subscribe. You can watch most of our shows up there just by searching WILI Radio. And you can also listen to them as a podcast. Not only listen to it live, for example, Hometown Threads every Tuesday, 5:05 to 5:30 on WILI, but you can go to WILI.com and listen to most of our shows up there as well. Hometown Threads has been coming your way for over 3 years now. Liberty Bank's been with us since day one. Big thanks to Liberty Bank. Be community kind with 3 great local locations, of course, across the street from the station at 679 Main Street, 1703 West Main Street, managed by my wife, Marianne, and then up the street in Mansfield, Route 195. Liberty Bank, be community kind. J. Matt Rupar, if you'd be so kind, say hello to the fine folks.
Hello.
Episode 126, the last one of 2026. And before we get to our guest, who's actually making a little history here, not only is this the last Hometown Threads of the year, but for those of you who will go back and eventually watch episode 126, we have our new show sign, Liberty Bank, with the sponsor, and then Hometown Threads. Hometown Threads. Hometown Threads. Because I'm saying that, I'm pointing at the sign for those of you in radio, what the heck is he doing? Because some people, once in a while, will get it confused and call it Hometown Heroes. What's the name of the show?
Hometown Threads.
Thank you, Chris Reddy.
Yeah.
Chris Reddy as well. You recognize that voice. You hear it every Thursday at 3:05 with Right Now. With
That's
Chris
right,
Reddy.
right over on 95.3 and
That's
1400 AM.
He's got a great
WILI.
voice, too. I'm so glad.
Thanks.
Well, welcome aboard to our not only the Hometown Threads, but our talk slate, which you joined, what was it, a few months ago, right?
Yeah. And thank you very much for the opportunity. We talked about this at the beginning of the year, kind of went back and forth a little bit, and I really appreciate the opportunity to get messaging out there and provide alternative messaging to some of the other shows that you have on that talk radio station over on 95.3. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me here today for this final episode right before Christmas.
If I knew you were going to give it, now I feel bad. Well, first of all, I'm supporting the old Willimantic, Connecticut thing.
Got to represent.
I know, and you and I were texting. You should have let me know, because then I would have came in with, we were just talking about it before the cameras and mics went on, I would have worn my Christmas Story Ralphie outfit.
I know.
That I wore at Trolley Pub last year, but you got your Christmas lights tie.
Yep, this is my Jerry Garcia. If anybody that has seen me dress up before knows that the one thing that is the uniform part of my dress-up collection is the Jerry Garcia ties. I have like 3 dozen. I have like 3 dozen Jerry Garcia ties.
Are you a big Dead fan? Is that right too?
No, I mean I like the Grateful Dead. That was obviously my era in the 80s and 70s when I was growing up.
How old are you?
But I just turned 54 a couple weeks ago.
We're the same age. Okay, so we're both 1972, right?
71.
71.
Yep,
I'm 72, so I'll be 54 in April, but go ahead. Yeah.
I did listen to, a whole wide range of music. I've always enjoyed a wide range of music. Definitely for me, it's the hard rock and heavy metal, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And you got
we'll talk
got
about that a little bit more.
Santa hat on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, you look great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Merry Christmas. We're just,
you also.
It's the holiday week. We're all excited about that. So, I've known you for a while now.
Yeah.
You've come out and supported us at the Trolley Pub Trivia, and that's how you and I finally connected. In fact, I remember it was about a year and a half or so ago. You came out a few times. Yeah. You still come out every now and then. Yeah. I'm like, oh, wow, Chris Reddy's out here. I was like, this is cool, And that was the first time you and I actually met face to face.
Yeah.
And what is your official title? 'Cause I know you run on the conservative side, but tell us what else do you do? What does Chris Reddy do? And then we'll get into growing up around.
Sure. Yes. So I spent really 3 decades as a first responder, and this started right out of high school.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school at Joel Barlow High School down in Reading. It was a regional, Reading and Easton were the two towns that shared this high school.
You're from like the other end of the state.
Yeah, the other end of the state. I still have family there. My dad lives in Ridgefield. Beautiful end of the state. Really enjoyed growing up there. Joel Barlow, one of the things that was very unique was that our athletic director at the time was actually a emergency medical services instructor. And one of the classes that you could take during the day as part of your high school curriculum was an EMT class. And at the end, you were eligible to become certified as an EMT at the time. I did. That was, 1989.
Wow.
1991, I took a paramedic class out of the Yukon Health Center in Farmington. But during that time, I worked as an EMT for a couple of years to gain experience. I became a paramedic and very quickly realized that one of the ways that I could kind of give back to being a first responder and that I had kind of a knack for was being an instructor. So I've held dozens of different instructor certifications in emergency medical services and rescue. And, really felt like that was kind of one of the ways that I could really make a difference by kind of mentoring and educating the future generations of first responders, and did that for a long time. I worked out of actually the same program that I graduated from as a paramedic in Farmington at the Yukon Health Center. A few years later, I became the director there. And,
Really?
Yep, and was responsible for 6 EMT classes that were taught each year, and we had 2 paramedic classes. I was the director for the daytime paramedic program, which meant that they were in school Monday through Friday. And we kind of switched up the curriculum throughout their whole training. So they started off very classroom heavy, and by the end, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they were in clinical situations at different hospitals to learn some of the things that we were teaching them as part of the paramedic program.
So it's pretty safe to say you kind of knew what you wanted to do as you're heading out of high school. You started. It sounds like you're pretty passionate.
I actually kind of really fell into it. I always had an interest in the healthcare field, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew that kind of a regular 9-to-5 job was not exactly going to be for me. Early on, I was always very athletic growing up and competed in several different sports at a very high level, but I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And kind of with the EMT, I found something that was not only a job that was very challenging, but also
helping people.
Yeah, very, very unique because, as I mentioned, I think on the first episode of my show, you never know what's going to be coming your way as an EMT or a paramedic. Yeah. That 911 call comes in, and it could be anything from a motor vehicle accident to, assisting with a childbirth to someone having a heart attack. You just don't know. You never know what is coming next, and you have to be prepared for that.
I got a bunch of questions about.
Sure,
this.
Of course. Go ahead.
Start with this. What So in the beginning, you're starting to, say, well, this is kind of interesting. I'm starting to like this, but when you start the initial training, how would they teach you not to panic? Like how do they say, look, you can't panic. You got to, as the dispatcher. Anyway, how do they instill that?
Sure. I think that's something that really, as a very successful EMT or paramedic or firefighter or police officer, that's something you have to have as part of your personality. I don't know if you could really train it. I think that you could, you could help people to understand what might be a situation that they are faced with.
If they see that in you, they're going to politely say, this might not be your thing, right?
There are some people.
Let's go through tests.
I will tell you, I don't know if you remember this, but it was probably 98.
Okay.
And on Route 32, there was a home heating oil truck that got hit by the train.
I think right at the
crossing of 32 and 203. I was working at Wyndham Hospital as a paramedic, and I had, at the time, we had volunteer drivers that would come with us, and a lot of times these were people that did not have a lot of experience. They were relatively new to the job.
Okay.
I had one of those with me. I happened to be driving down Route 32 when the call came in, so I was there within a minute of it happening. We pull up, and the train is on fire. The truck is blown into pieces. Yeah. The ground all around the train is on fire.
I definitely don't remember this. I wasn't living around here at the time. But that really?
Yeah, and this kid afterwards, he was like, this is not for me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And he was just starting out, huh?
Yeah, he was just starting out. This is the first day that he had ridden with me. I was still on days at that time. I spent most of my career
here. That could be traumatizing.
Oh, absolutely. Some of the things that you can't explain to people what it is that makes you kind of be able to not be affected by that. Because, of course, those things are going to affect you. But the way that I've always looked at it and the way that I've kind of overcome it in my life is that no matter what, I knew that I was giving everything that I could to try and help that person and give them the best opportunity of surviving whatever it was that the problem was. And I think that's something that people have to keep in mind. Yes, post-traumatic stress is something that first responders deal with because there are things that we are not meant to see. Like your brain just can't process some of the horrible things that you can be subject to seeing.
All right, so this is the early part of your life.
Yeah.
You're still active in some of the EMT stuff. You're still
Not anymore.
What's an EMT? Always an EMT, right?
Well, sure, yeah.
So you still do this?
I'm still friends with those. No, I don't. I don't anymore. Yep, I got out of that.
Your job right now is
And politician.
just politician. Okay.
Yep.
We're going to get into that. How take us back at how you came to this area.
Sure, certainly.
How did you get here?
Certainly. So I did go to UConn, and at the time I was working at Wyndham Hospital. I've lived in a couple of different areas around Eastern Connecticut. I've lived in Coventry, I've lived in Mansfield, been in Scotland for the last 14 years, and really love it out there. That's definitely a spot that we've grown as a family. I have 3 children. They grew up in this house.
Well, shout out to your kids. Go ahead. How old are they too?
Sure. Devin, who is 22, is my oldest. Jenna, who is 20. She's about to be 21 in a couple months. And then my youngest is Logan, and he's 18.
Okay.
And 2 of them went to school locally at Parish Hill. And they really, I think, benefited from the house that I allowed them to grow up in, because we're definitely a family that likes to do things outside. It really concerns me about the way that kind of social media is taking over society, and really young people who I think are negatively affected by a lot of the things that happen on social media, whether it's just algorithms that are leading them into areas they probably should not be looking at.
Those digital influencers.
Yeah, or just simply the trolling and the bullying that happens online are things that, again, this is such a new technology. We've not developed to be able to sustain this.
We got bullied face to face when we were kids. Not saying you and you or I,
yes.
but when we were kids, that's how it happened. But you're right; it's a different age, and it's just it's a different time.
Yeah, so I'm really glad that they got the opportunity to grow up in an environment where we have a pond in our backyard. They could go out and go fishing. They could go out and see nature and just be out there. And we enjoy riding quads and dirt bikes, so they grew up riding that stuff in the woods and having fun. And those are the things that
you're in a great area too. Because I'm in Wyndham Center, so we're practically neighbors. Almost. So, now do you still have family at the other end of the state, or what?
Yes, I do actually. Yep, I still have family over in Ridgefield. And then my mom lives up in Pomfret. So we do have
wow.
In the
talk
area
about
here. Yeah.
Wait, because Pomfret is the quiet corner, pretty much.
Yeah.
And you said what was the other Ridgefield?
Yep, Ridgefield,
which is the northwest part of the state.
That's actually right next to Danbury and Reading.
That's right.
Yeah, right on the New York line. Like they are literally right on the New York border.
So you got family at both ends of the state.
Oh yeah, and then my sister is out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Get out of here!
Oh yeah,
beautiful part of the country.
Yeah, and
what's she doing out there?
She is a big skier, like
I was
growing up. Yeah, no, actually, she and I both grew up ski racing.
Really?
Traveled all around both New England and the world following snow to be able to ski as much as we could when we were kids. Yeah. There was a couple years in high school where I was able to ski more than 300 days out of the year.
How do you do that?
I spent the summers on Mount Hood, Oregon.
Oh, there you go.
So
really?
My senior year of high school, I left the day before our graduation. I completed everything, all my tests and everything, but I left the day before graduation and spent the entire summer out in Oregon on Mount Hood.
You've seen a lot of the parts.
5th year, that I was out there.
You've seen a lot of the country. Wow.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, so now, Chris Reddy, by the way, is our guest. Episode 126 of Hometown Threads on WILI, brought to you by, of course, Willimantic Today, Spectrum 192, and WILI Radio on YouTube. Search WILI Radio. Brought to you by Liberty Bank. Be community kind. So we're getting to know Chris Reddy a little bit more. Of course, you can catch his show right now with Curtis and
Mike
DeSongnier. By the way, is that how you say it, DeSongnier?
DeSongnier.
Because when I met
Haley,
his daughter, who did a great job running, sorry to get off the subject for a second,
Yeah.
she told me face to face, she said DeSongnier.
Yeah.
Like DeSongnier. But that's
how I'm trying to say DeSongnier.
So, okay, DeSongnier. Okay.
Or is she giving it a little bit?
Yeah, she might have emphasized the zone a little bit. But anyway. So, yeah, great show. Thursday, 3:05. Check out right now with this guy, Chris.
We've been
Reddy.
having a good time. Like, it's definitely an interesting challenge trying to come up with content for an hour's worth of talk radio.
So you guys all like brainstorm during the week and figure out?
Yeah, we chat a little bit back and forth, but I still try and keep it as the original format that we had discussed, where they predominantly are there providing local Wyndham content, and I'm trying to give more state-level legislative content and some national-level stuff, too.
And there's going to be like a spin-off coming up, I believe, on starting Monday in the new year, where Curtis and,
that's what we were
Mike
talking
are going
about.
to do possibly a Monday show.
Yeah, we're going to have to discuss it. Yeah, yep. Yep. That's definitely
Great.
something that we're looking at.
But you'll stick in the Thursday. You're in the Thursday slot.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're getting to know a little more about Chris Reddy. The stuff you may not know about him, like he's a world class skier over here. He's he's been in Oregon. He's been all over the country skiing, and now
that's how we grew up. It was every weekend we would take off on Friday.
So your parents
go up north. Race all weekend. We would have one race in Vermont, one race in New Hampshire, come back Sunday night. And
you talking about black diamonds, that kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, we raced. My sister and I both raced slalom, giant slalom, super G, and downhill.
Did you ever think about taking this to would you ever try and pursue the Olympics?
So the way that it works in the United States is there's something called USSA, which is the United States Ski Association, and they are the governing body for ski racing, both alpine, which is the downhill for sports, also cross country, Nordic, and then also all the freestyle events too, which is the moguls and those crazy triple backflips that they do off the huge kicker jumps.
You watch the X Games?
Oh yeah, I love that stuff. Yeah, that's the stuff that I love. That's my thing.
Would you ever do the X Games?
Oh yeah, I mean I ride motorcycles and dirt bikes.
Oh my
and
God,
quads
you could be on the X Games.
Yeah, yep. I grew up rock
you chose
climbing.
Politics.
Oh yeah,
Okay, no.
grew up rock climbing.
What?
Yep.
Would you? Well, we're in our 50s now. You can't do the X Games now, right? Or could you?
I don't know what event I would do. I don't have a knee anymore on one side, so.
Okay, all right. Oh my God, I didn't know you were that. All right.
Oh yeah, we're really into it. Like we would be skiing literally all winter long, trying to extend it as long as we can by going further and further north for races until usually the last race of the season is what's called the Sugar Slalom at Stowe, which was where I went to a ski academy for part of my high school career. I actually went to school up in Vermont at Stowe. My sister went to Burke Mountain Academy, which is in northern Vermont, for the same thing for years. And it was just all about ski racing. All you were doing was training every day, racing on the weekends.
You never got tired of skiing?
No, I loved it.
When was the last time you skied?
It's been years.
Oh, so
like I said, yeah, my knee's been gone for
is the
about.
knee because of skiing? The knee problem?
Yes, actually on.
Or was it dirt bikes?
No, it was actually on December 31st, 1999. I was out in Colorado. This is my sister.
Oh my God, good from 99 to 2000. Remember that year? I was in Philly. We were all scared about 99 to 2000. The world's going to end. And all.
Exactly. Your
and
phone's going to shut off.
You had something happen on December 31st, 1999.
Yep. I was skiing with my sister and blew out my right knee. Had spent New Year's in a knee immobilizer, came back, had surgery a couple of weeks later. That graft, Dr. Joyce, who was longtime orthopedic surgeon here for the Yukon Athletics, did the surgery. Great guy, great job. Put a really big graft in there. He said it would last about 15 years. I got like 17 out of it.
Wow.
And it's gone now. So it has to be done again.
So were you were doing the skiing and the dirt bike thing all together? Or just you
No, dirt bikes and quads were more as I got older because my parents, if they were spending all the money on skiing, did not want me on a dirt bike. So
did your parents ski too? They
did.
So your whole family ski. Wow.
Yeah, yep. Not to the degree that we did, but they loved skiing and did both cross country and downhill
I was about to ask
skiing.
you. So your parents, because it sounds like you did the more active stuff. You weren't a cross country.
Oh no, I like doing that too. Yeah, all
I was going to say going fast.
I just love winter sports. Hockey, we love playing hockey on our pond
We're
now
going to
in
get
the
into the
winter.
sports thing too. Yeah. Now, God, so much. I know time flies with this show.
Yeah.
So much to get in here.
Might have to have episode 2.
I know. Jeez, I know. Only one person I've done that with, and it was Coach Crudden. I just had to be going on vacation, but we happened to split that up. So I want to ask you, how did you get into politics now?
All right. So I've always been interested in politics. National level politics I've always followed, always had interest in. I've really been someone who's self-motivated to learn. I've known for a long time that I don't need to sit in a class to learn a lot of information about different topics. And I've always been interested in not only politics, but also history. And that's kind of how they go together. I've read extensively, hundreds and hundreds of books, all nonfiction about military history of the United States, history of other countries, trying to learn other cultures. Always been interested in reading that type of stuff. What really changed was my children growing up. I understand how ugly and dirty politics can be, and I'm not worried about being affected by that because I'm confident in how I've conducted myself in the way that I've grown up and shown myself as an example of someone who has really contributed and given back to the communities because of what I've done as a first responder. No one is going into being a first responder with the idea of a lifestyle that's rich and famous. We do it for a different reason. And I've never expected any type of recognition for this, but I feel that I've been someone who really has looked out for communities. when I stopped being a paramedic and started looking at other things to do, I kind of realized that I didn't have that same satisfaction with other jobs. And I've looked at this now that my children are old enough to understand how politics can be, that I'm in a place where they're out on their own, they're doing their thing, and now I can kind of step out and be like, this is who I am. I'm ready to run for state senate, and that I'm going to be a good representative of the 100,000 people that a senatorial district is supposed to represent. This is a very conservative end of the state, and I think that I do a good job of representing that.
Absolutely. Now, you've how many years have you been doing politics?
This will be 3 years now, a little over 3 years now.
You're going to keep it going, right? You enjoy it?
Yes, I do. I've really enjoyed being the chairman of the Republican Town Committee in Scotland, which was kind of how I got into this. And really, I see our role as a town committee being to identify and promote and then elect people that are going to be really good representatives for us. That's what this is. Our representative form of government is one where we need to make sure that really good people who have the best interests of the taxpayers and the residents of these areas are the ones that we are electing to represent us.
So there'll come a time where you're going to run for state senator again, right?
I have not announced anything yet. We will talk in the future about what's happening. I'll make sure that you are the first person that I contact.
Me?
Okay?
Oh,
Yep.
come on.
Me. I'll give you the exclusive there, Keith.
Why me? All right, well, we're trying to cover so many things here. Now we got to get into sports. We just have a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
So the more and more I've got to know you, and I'm really glad you come out to Trolley Pub Trivia. I love seeing you every now and then, you and Heather, and we have a couple minutes left. So explain to me why. I know you're a Bruins fan, but I'm a big sports fan too. You're a Yankees fan too. Now, I'm a Red Sox fan. I'm all New England.
Yep.
So I know you. Well, I don't want to say Ridgefield's really down by. That's not new. How'd you become a Yankee fan and then a Bruins? Now, do you follow?
Yeah, I totally understand the question. So I definitely saw growing up, 70s and 80s, that the Connecticut River was the divide.
Yeah, Mason.
West of the river, you were predominantly Yankees and some Mets fans.
Some people said Hartford,
and then
Red Sox, Yankees.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly. So there was definitely a good split there. I think that's kind of diluted a little bit in the past few decades. Sure. But I grew up down at that end of the state. We would go to Yankees games, and I had a lot of friends that were Red Sox fans, and I kind of liked being the opposite. And back then in the 70s and 80s, the Yankees did have some good years, especially in the early and mid 70s. Reggie Jackson was a great player back then, who I was a big fan of, and I grew up always a Yankees and Giants fan.
Okay, so your football team's Giants.
Yep, exactly.
Now Bruins.
But I was a Whalers fan.
Oh,
I was a Whalers fan.
Okay.
Could not be a Hurricanes fan when they left. I was so disappointed by that. And I'll tell you, my connection to the Whalers, the last couple of years that they were there, and this was a very unusual circumstance. I was working for it was a company called American Medical Response, the ambulance company, and our division was Waterbury, Southington, Plainville, Farmington, and Avon. So we had a division that was for that area of the state. The ambulance company in Hartford lost the contract for the Hartford Civic Center to provide standby service. So we gained the contract for those last couple of years of the Whalers. So for every Whalers game, we sent an ambulance to the Civic Center from Southington, and you got to sign up. I probably saw, I would say over the last 3 years, 24 to 30 hockey games where I was standing at rink level right behind the guy with the camera in the tunnel with my ambulance and stretcher right next to me, standing there right watching the Whalers games. So I really had a great experience with the Whalers, being a paramedic.
So when they left and your ties with New York teams, now they're the Hartford, there's an AHL team, the Hartford Wolfpack, which is the Rangers affiliate. I'm surprised you become a Rangers fan.
I didn't like the Rangers. I didn't like the Islanders. Okay. After the Whalers left, the only thing that I could be was a Bruins fan, and I've been a diehard Bruins fan since then. We go to games every single year. And we were there just Saturday night. We went to the game against the Canucks.
That's right. So, okay. Getting to know Chris Reddy here. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Is there anything else you'd like to mention or throw out there before we wrap up episode 126?
I want to thank you, Keith, for first being on the radio and doing such a great job for the town of Wyndham. You really represent us well. You are at all the events. I see you constantly on Facebook now. You do a fantastic job, and I really want to thank you for giving me the opportunity on this radio station to provide some of my messaging to everybody. I want to wish everyone who's listening a very Merry Christmas. I'm glad that I got to be here on this final show before the holiday break.
New show sign.
Yep, exactly. Great new sign here behind us. It looks fantastic. Again, done locally by a business right next door. You want to give them a plug?
Signs Plus. Signs Plus. Yes, I meant to mention that. Thank you for the Duncan Friday sports scene, and they did the Liberty Bank.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that one.
Big shout out to the crew over at Signs Plus. They did a wonderful job. So thank you. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
But
Merry Christmas to you and Marianne.
Reddy.
Merry Christmas to our producer Matt here. He's done a great job on both our shows.
Yes, he's a tremendous producer. And of course, Homegrown every Friday at 4:05, which follows the Duncan Friday sports scene. But I want to thank you for what you do. And Matt can vouch for this. We're very excited when it was in the works trying to get you on board. I'm like, we got to guess. Chris Reddy would be perfect. And Curtis and Mike do a great job too. So Merry Christmas to Chris Reddy and his family. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And we'll catch up again.
2026.
2026. And that episode 126. Look at that.
Perfect. Yeah.
Because we headed into 2026. Big thanks to Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind, J. Matt Rupar. Hey, Merry Christmas to you, buddy. Buddy. All right. And thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And the words of the great Roddy McCumber.
Bye for now, folks. Bye for now.
And that concludes another edition of Hometown Threads. Got a story for Keith? Reach out to him on Facebook by searching Keith C. Rice or email him at krice@hallradio.net. Don't forget to tune in next week on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM, as well as the Willimantic Today page on Facebook.